Likkutei Shmos Chof Dal Teves. This is a Sicha, part of the project of the Likkutei Sichos. We're coming up to Chof Dal Teves. Chof Dal Teves is the Balatanya, the Alter Rebbe's yard site. Considering the Alter Rebbe's passing, so the Alter Rebbe was running away from the French, and the Russians were fighting, and there was a big machlekes between the Gedolim who should rule. The Tzemach Tzedek, the Alter Rebbe, felt that the Yidden, even though Begashmius will do better with the French, with Napoleon, but he felt Baruchnius, the Yidden, would be better under the Tsar of Russia. And the French knew that the Tzemach Tzedek opposed them. So the Alter Rebbe opposed them. So one of the first things that the French did when they invaded Russia is they went after the Alter Rebbe, and the Alter Rebbe had to flee. And while he was fleeing, the Alter Rebbe was running away, and he got sick. And eventually the Alter Rebbe passed away in a place called Piana. And from there was a whole miracle how the Alter Rebbe went from there to Hadich. And then the Rebbe is going to connect Chof Dal Teves, the whole passing with Parshas Shmos. Der Tzemach Tzedek schreibt wegen der Histalkus von Alter Rebbe. The Tzemach Tzedek writes in regards to the passing of the Alter Rebbe, noch in Beschreiben, bekitzer die Tiltulim, was der Alter Rebbe hat durchgemacht, hat laufendig von die Trafatim bis zu sein Ankommen in Dorf Piana. Ein Sham war Yishlach Tovkov Ein Gimel. So, concerning the Alter Rebbe's passing, which the Tzemach Tzedek writes after he explains all the Tiltulim that the Alter Rebbe had to go through running away from the French till he came to a little town called Piana. So the Tzemach Tzedek says that as b'motzi Shabbos Kedesh, the Shmeis Chof Gimel Lechof Dal Teves Kechatzeis Shah Yud Aleph Nish Ba'or Na Kedesh Me'er Yisrael Mashiach Hashem. On Motzi Shabbos Shmos, the 23rd, the evening of the 24th of Teves, at the halfway mark of the 11th hour, which was like 10:30 p.m., the Holy Ark, the luminary of the Eden, Hashem's anointed one, was taken. Of course, this is referring to the Alter Rebbe. Now, as we said, first Alter Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek summarizes the Alter Rebbe's maneuvering during his escape from the French military until the Alter Rebbe's arrival at the village of Piana. I said before, Ayin Sham, Erev Shabbos Vayishlach, 55:73. Now, the Rebbe says, you do as alle Medi Ashana, Vishleimer Shader, Ichimei Tzadikim, Bemele Ichimei Eledes, und Yimei Lula, von Tzadikim Ketzebeze, haben Ashayches zum Teichen von der Parsha und Teda, was Vilein Demot. It's well known that all Yom Tevim, and we can say that similarly is true on all special days of Tzadikim, including their birthdays and the days of Yilula, are linked with the subject matter of the Parsha that we learn. Verstandig von dem Teda-Wort. The Bal HaYilula from the Malten Eben has been darf leben mit der Zeit mit der Parshas HaShavua. Especially, it's known what the Alter Rebbe always says, that we have to live with the times. What does that mean? It means with the Parshas HaShavua. Ubinyanenu, regards to what we're talking about, Hagamas the status von Alter Rebbe is given Ehrlich of Dal Teves, was his Eisgefallen in Yom Aleph from Parshas Ve'eda. Now, even though the Alter Rebbe passed away on the evening of Chof Dal Teves, and that year it fell on a Sunday Parshas Ve'eda, in other words, Motzei Shabbos, the phone number was der Tzemach Tzedek hat sich nicht begnügen mit Anzeichnen, bloß dem Zman für Ehrlich auf Dal Teves und viel nicht mit Meister sein, dem Tag von Woch, Motzei Shabbos Kedesh, nur geht zu, als es gewinnt bei Motzei Shabbos Kedesh der Shmeis, und noch mehr, ist der zu Meister, was Shabbos Kedesh Shmeis ist gewinnt Chof Gimel Teves. Ist davon verstanden, dass die Stalkos hat das Scheißes euch und beiker zu Parshas Shmos. The Rebbe says that the fact that the Tzemach Tzedek was not content by just stating in the way he wrote it down, the evening of the 24th of Teves, or poorly, or simply just to put the day of the week, Motzei Shabbos Kedesh. Instead, he also noted the date of the passing was Motzei Shabbos Shmos. And he writes clearly that it was the date of Shabbos Shmos, the 23rd of Teves. So therefore it's understood that the fact that he put, that it happened, Chof Gimel, Chof Dalid, Parshas Shmos, it must be that it has a very, a special connection, the Alter Rebbe is passing to Parshas Shmos. Father as der Genoyer Zman Istalkus is remember that Tzemach Tzedek schreibt ke Chatzei Shoyed Aleph, and especially its precise time of the passing is recording by the Tzemach Tzedek as a halfway mark of the 11th hour, in other words, 10:30. Was benegeh kamadinim min yanam hamadach yidua di shoyes from Motzei Shabbos Kiddush par Chatzei Alayla Shaycha to Shabbos. Is bemela abazungre beweis if the Shaychas from the Istalkus to Parshas Shmos Davke. So we know that the fact that the Tzemach Tzedek writes that it happened 10:30, the hours before Chatzos, have a special connection to Shabbos regarding several halachas, and so we see that this also supports that the Alter Rebbe's passing is specifically linked with Parshas Shmos. So the Rebbe brings in the order 13, the Shalos Tshuvos Shulchan Aruch Rechaim Smin Shema Arizal, that Vidui, there's other halachas that concern much of Shabbos that we don't do before 12 o'clock, before Chatzos. So obviously, what the Rebbe is trying to bring out, that it has a special connection to Parshas Shmos, has a special connection to the Hilula Istalkus of the Alter Rebbe. The theme of Parshas Shmos is Golus v'Shibud Mitzrayim. The theme of Parshas Shmos is exile and Shibud Mitzrayim, and bondage of the Jewish people in Egypt. In the Parshas was far from Parshas Shmos, bei Yigash HaMayachid, that sich wegen des Mann von far Shibud Mitzrayim. The Parshas of Vayigash HaMayachid discuss the period before the enslavement of the Yidden in Mitzrayim, even though the descent of the Yidden into Mitzrayim already happened. Imam Razal, as the Gemara says, calls man shoya echa mehem kayim li shibdu ha-Mitzrim Yisrael. As the Chachamim tell us, the sages say, as long as of those who had descended into Mitzrayim was alive, the Egyptians did not enslave the Yidden. On the other hand, in the Parshas was noch Shmos, Parshas Ba'eda and Parshas Bei, Hagamas Eichen Zeh werd gered wegen die Tkufas HaShibud from the Yidden in Mitzrayim. So Parshas Ba'eda and Parshas Bei, even though it speaks about the slavery and the enslavement of the Yidden in Mitzrayim, from this wegen, nevertheless, it ends of Shein on, and Parshas Ba'eda, the Tzeichens Oif dem Onei von der Gula. Nevertheless, you find the Parshas Ba'eda already, you see the signs and miracles, you find the indication of the beginning of the redemption in Parshas Ba'eda. The Asis Mevsim was der Eberstadt Bavizin, und die Makis was hat gebracht oif die Mitzrayim. You see that the miracles and the Makis they brought on the Mitzrayim, oif the Shibud Guf is dann geworden geringer, and even then the enslavement was a lot lighter. Und noch mehr wie Mordechai Chazal sagen, Chazal say in Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah batla aveda mavisenu b'Mitzrayim, says that the Rosh Hashanah, our ancestors' servitude ceased. When Alachas kam v'kam in Parshas Boi, was stetchin der Zelen wegen der Gula b'Peil, and especially in Parshas Boi, which already speaks about the actual redemption. Now, da kegen in Parshas Shmos, who they taken from the ganze said the besteht von Pratim in im Gedel Kusha Shibud. However, in Parshas Shmos, with the entire Parsha speaks about the detail of the enslavement's magnitude and severity. Bis zum der Zelen and safe von der Sedra, as Pare hat geze gewen lei, sei sifun lasest, chabe tichbad aveda anoshim, bis a viele Menschen erbinne hat geteilt zum Himmelsstern, was Basi a Pare hara la'omazeh. So, it's the theme continues at the end of the Parsha, which describes how Pare decreed, you shall not continue to give, let the work lay heavier on the men until even Moshe complained to Hashem, from the time I came to Pare, he harmed this people even more. The mitkem in mevarzim that is actually the shaytas from the istakos from Alter Rebbe. So, which parsha does it really speak about the enslavement from beginning to end? That's Parshas Shmos. So, with this, we can possibly offer an explanation to the connection between the Alter Rebbe passing and Parshas Shmos. We demand free as the istakos from Alter Rebbe given based in gefinzich in Golus, as we mentioned before. The Alter Rebbe's passing occurred while he was mamish in exile. We also on the piano, as the Tzemach Tzedek says, that he escaped while he was escaping from the French and were on the move until they reached Piana. Piana was mamish a goyische Stadt. Und mit alle Prote atiltu die Yisurim werden beschrieben in einem Brief von Mittel Rebbe. And all the details of the escape and the hardships are transcribed in the Mittel Rebbe's letter. Gimel. Now the Rebbe is going to speak about the Alter Rebbe's life work and Gullus. Since you do was the Bala Hilula schreibt wegen dem Ingen von Hilula Bistalkus, as demol zanin ile meile kol meise v'teidos v'avidos asher obed kol yemei chayav. It's known what Alter Rebbe writes regarding the Ilul. It's brought down in Ger Sakedish Siman Chav Zayin. The Alter Rebbe says that regarding Ilul and Stalkus, that's then that all his actions, his Torah and his divine service in which he engaged all the days of his life, ascend on high. Und das wird misgalu mehr b'chinas gilum u'malala lamata beis p'tirasi. And they are revealed and manifested in a way from above to below at the time of his passing. In other words, whatever a tzaddik did all of his life is revealed down over here at the time he passes away. Says every incident is infused with hashkacha pratis, especially events in the life of a tzaddik and leader of a generation. Is therefore verstanden is understood as das was the Alter Rebbe's istalkus is given in Golis. Since the Alter Rebbe's passing was in Mamish in exile, is das abavais if the kesher and pnimis tikashaychas zwischen Meise v'teidos v'avidasi von dem Bala Ilula v'chazan Ulum misgala mer based istalka. So there's a correlation. This correlation indicates that there's a connection and deeper affiliation between the deeds, the Torah and Avodah of Alter Rebbe, which ascend and are revealed and radiate at the time of the passing, and the advantage of the Avodah performed specifically during the time of Golis. Mit der Meile von der Avodah in Zman Golis Dafka. Und davon ist euch Istalsche geworden in Gashmis as ein Istalkus is given in Golis Kipshuti. And because the Alter Rebbe, whatever the Alter Rebbe's Avodah was, and whatever advantage and Avodah that you have specifically during the times of Golis, from this it evolved physically that his departure from the physical world occurred when he was in the actual Golis. Why? Because the Alter Rebbe, whatever he embodied, whatever he signified, whatever he personified, his whole Aveda, that stafke we're going to see during Golos, that comes out. And the Rebbe is going to explain by Riechos what that means. Das ist echt der Kam, was der letzte Chag HaGelula von Yitzchak Kislev, was der Alter Rebbe hat geprabet, bechaim, chayus, die Ma'amadin, ist gewähnt in dem Golos Ort von dem Seinen Stalkas. Warum? Wie der Mann früher, das Tibes Amasedik, ist wie aus der Piano, gewähnt Shabbos Vayishlach. Was das ist gewähnt, for Yitzchak Kislev. And we say as well, that this is why the last celebration of Yitzchak Kislev by the Alter Rebbe during his life in the world transpired in the same place of his passing. As we mentioned before from the Tzemach Tzedek, his arrival at Piano was on Erev Shabbos Vayishlach before Yitzchak Kislev. But only Baal, Yitzchak Kislev, the Rosh Hashanah Lachsidis, is the Likkutei Sichos von Meise v'teidos v'avidasi von dem Bala Ilula. Was das hat afarbun mit Miles Avodah in Zman HaGolos Kanal. Now, since Yitzchak Kislev, which is the Rosh Hashanah of Chassidus, it's the focal point of the deeds, the Torah and Avodah of the Alter Rebbe. Avodah, which is mentioned above, is affiliated with the advantage of Avodah during the era of exile. So therefore, der Fahr is euch sein letzter Yitzchak Kislev, was das meint bemillet der hechster Ile von dem Jem Nale betkufas Chayev. Ba'almadin, wie bald, b'chol Shana b'Shana Yeri de Meir, Chodesh, b'Chodesh, l'hoya Meir Adayim B'Elam, gewinnen Golos, und noch mehr, in dem selben Golos Ort, wo es ist gewinnen seine Stadlos, weil damals stehen alle seine Meisov, v'teiros v'avidose betachel Shlemus Kanal. And therefore, the last celebration of Yitzchak Kislev was spent in Golos. From this, it follows that the celebration of this lofty day must have been then, as is most sublime in his life, in this world, since every year there descends and radiates a new renewed light that has never yet shone. And more so, the celebration was held in the same place at his passing of Golos, because all his deeds, his Teinas Aveda, were in the state of ultimate perfection, as discussed above. Now, Dalit, we're going to explain now the meaning of Shemus. As man das verstehen, la'achdem wird beweisen im Indien, hanal as the Teichem von Parshas Shmos is Golos v'Shibud Mitzrayim. We will understand this after clarifying the above-mentioned concept. The theme of Parshas Shmos is Golos and bondage in Mitzrayim. Okay, Dalit. As man das verstehen, la'achdem wird beweisen im Indien ha-Golos as the Teichem von Parshas Shmos is Golos v'Shibud Mitzrayim. We'll understand this by first clarifying the above-mentioned concept, the theme of Parshas Shmos in Mitzrayim, and the bondage in Mitzrayim. Schon geredet vielmal, als der Namen von der Seder Likkutei Sichos mit sich dem Inhalt von Seder ganze Seder. We discussed many times, the name of the Parsha expresses the subject matter of the entire Parsha. Es ist nicht verstanden in unseren Dingen. It's not understood in our context. Das, was der Wort Schleus anhalt in sich is, doch jeder Hebech von dem Ehen von Golas Mitzrayim. The significance of the word Shmos, names, seemingly conflicts with the concept of exile in Mitzrayim. Why? Val Aleph. Chazal sagen, wir frieren den Mond, als Kosmanschoi echem mehem kaim eisen shiardim no Mitzrayim lei shibdu am Mitzrayim b'Yisrael. Kommt doch eis, als der Inge für Shmos b'nei Yisrael bei Mitzrayim hat gar nicht der Losen dem Shibud from Mitzrayim. The Chachamim taught, as we mentioned before, that as long as one of those who had descended originally to Mitzrayim was alive, the Mitzrayim did not enslave the Eden. From this it comes out that the names of the children of Yaakov who came to Mitzrayim, in fact, stalls the enslavement of Mitzrayim. So you're calling it Parshas Shmos, which the Chayr speaks about the Shibud Mitzrayim, yet when we say Eila Shmos B'nai Yisrael B'nai Mitzrayim, these are the names, these Kolzman the Shvatim were alive, it stalled the enslavement of Mitzrayim. Base. Euch die besondere Hadgasha von dem Wort Shmos Gufa, das, was der Eberste hat sie noch einmal gezählt beschmeißen, ist doch gewesen, wie Rashi sagt, Lehidiach Ibasa. Was ist der Heipich von Golas für Kushia Shibud von den Eden, wegen welcher es erzählt sich in der Parsha. The particular significance of the word Shmos itself, that Hashem had once again enumerated 12 sons of Yaakov by their names, as Rashi says, to make known how precious they are, so the disclosure of their preciousness, when you say the preciousness, that's the opposite of Golas and Kaisha Shibud of the Eden, which tells about in our Parsha. You're saying the cherishedness, the preciousness. So that's the opposite of the exile and bondage of the tree was described in the Parsha. And Gimel, the third thing is that I've asked is the Shemos and the Gur Kalamar Chazal Shengu Ulas Yisrael Niskru Kan. The Chacham say that the names were actually mentioned here as testament to the redemption of the heathen. So the Chayra, you're calling it Shmos names, Parshas Shmos, but the Chayra Shmos, the actual names refer to Hepech of the Golas. Sai calls man that the names, the Shvatim were alive, the Shibud didn't start. We're saying that why does he mention the names again, like the Echibasan, that's the opposite of Golas. And the actual names were actually mentioned here as a testament for the actual redemption. So the Rebbe says of this, hey, the explanation is as follows. Now we're going to explain the Aveda and Golas. Sie du als der Iloi in der Aveda von Zman HaGolas besteht darin, was darf gedämmelt, wird anplegt der Kirche, es ist never von Ayiden. It's known the advantage of Aveda during the time of Golas is that specifically then, the Yid's capacity for Aveda, for Mesiras Nefesh, was darf gedämmelt, wird anplegt der Kirche, Mesiras Nefesh von Ayiden. Darf then, that's when the power of Mesiras Nefesh is revealed. Was nimmt sich von Bchinas Yechidah Shebnefesh Etzem Haneshama, which comes from the power of Yechidah, the soul's essence. But on the Kev in Yechidah Shebnefesh Etzem Haneshama, liegt sich eis beikert dort in der Matzev, wo es fällt der Banem und herrscht in Likus mit Zeit der Kechas Gelim von der Neshama. Und die Skashas bei Likus ist demot nicht als durch die Kechas Gelim, nur mit Zeit dem Etzem von Aiden. So, the advantage of Aveda during a time of Golas is particularly that a Yid's capacity for Aveda Zara, stemming from the level of Yechidah, which is the essence, soul's essence is revealed. The power of Yechidah, the soul's essence, is expressed when the perception of the feeling of godliness through the soul's revealed faculties are absent. Then one's connection with Hashem is contingent not so much upon the revealed faculties, but upon the Yid's essence. Therefore, in his man, the Beis Hamikdash is kaim, no likus is mehr begidden. So when the Beis Hamikdash is still around and godliness is shined in a revealed way, is echt the ikra Aveda von Yidden given mit Tzaddik Kechas HaGelim. So the main Aveda, the primary Aveda, was carried out utilizing the revealed faculties. Sie haben der Herd Likkutei Sichos in die Kirches Pneumen Gilim für Sechel Midas. Bald das ist ein Aveda shal Pitam V'das v'Hergish is there been Nirgish der Aveda der Kirch von Yechida. So since the connection with Hashem is contingent not so much upon, since the Avedus is based on the person's intellect and feeling, the power of the Yechida is not discernible in this Aveda. Dafkin Zman HaGolos, specifically in the time of Golos. And that Edlik his Belam Vester, they say, later, Balei Tonu Yidea Adma. Dafka in the time that Hashem's light is concealed and obscured, and we have not seen our signs. And there's none amongst us who know how long. Not only that, there's concealment, there's challenges for the Teda of Aveda and Aveda. Dafka Dan, wenn mir will, se fällt, und dafke dann, wenn mir will, und weil se fällt die Wirkung von der gallistige Kirche an der Shema, wenn es der Kirche von Yechidisch Benefesh, so starken sich auf die Schwierigkeiten des Senes, auf Kiemet der Mitzvahs, mit Sadam Etzem, die Skashas von Idin zum Tener Mitzvahs. Specifically then, when, because of the positive influence of the Neshama's faculty's absence, the power of the Yechidah of the soul is awakened, due to the essential connection between the Yid and Hashem. This awakening enables one to overcome the difficulties of challenges of fulfilling Torah mitzvahs. And das is given the Inyan from Golos B'Tzayim and Golos B'Chlal. And this is the concept of Golos and Golos Mitzrayim and Golos in general. But dafke durch dem is gekommen zum Ausdruck die atzmistige Iskashas von Yidin zum Ebersten. It's through this Golos that a Yid's essential bond with Hashem comes to be expressed. Und das ist given the Achonu zum Mantera. This was a preparation to Mantera. Was if the Tachas von Mantera zum Mamshel and Elikus und Dvorim Gashmi welche seine Tachtenim und durch die Mitzvah sollen euch seh während Avila Yisbarach weil darf in them drückt sich face the Mitzvah Tera. So it's specifically then, now this is the concept of Golos. It's through Golos that a Yid's essential bond with Hashem comes to express. This also is the preparation for Matan Teda. The purpose of Teda is to draw godliness down into physical entities that comprise the lower realms and to make the dwelling place for Hashem through Teda mitzvahs. The essence of the Teda is evident specifically in this way. And that's the purpose of Golos. So the only way for Mr. Snevish to really come out in a real way is dafka through Golos, which was a achana of Matan Teda, to bring the likus down into Gashmis, and through that is expressed the etzim of Teda. Vav. Now we're going to discuss in Vav what's the name. The Eiber Oiben Gezokter Bier in the Meile von Avedens Malagalas, as Sagam Salach nicht der Eile Kibigile, und das wird dafke dem und Gala der Etzim Shamas is Merumas in dem Inyan von Shemis. This that we explained the advantage of the Aveda during Golos, that despite Hashem's light not radiating openly, it is then specifically that the essence of the soul is revealed is alluded in the underlying concept of Shmos, names, Shemis names. The Shaykhs von Anomen to mention was Traktim Nomen, Yefim in Tzveik Tzavis. Regarding the connection of a person's name with the person, there are two paradoxical points. Von ein Seite zet men as der Baal Hashem Salib sich allein. Neutig sich in ganzen nicht in dem Namen. Man nutzt es nur, wie ein Mittel, als der zweite Sohn kennen rufen, das heißt, als der Name ist der Geide Bleis an äußerliche Sach berech von einem Menschen. So on one hand, a person's name is useless for the person himself. It's needed solely as means for the purpose to be called by someone else. So we see that relative to the person, his name is relatively superficial. Und der Frage kämen von einem Namen nicht haben kein Begriff in dem Mochus von den Menschen, was ruft sich mit dem Namen. And that's why, based on a person's name, you cannot know really the essence of the person. Why not? Vordaye, seinen Frauen werden Menschen mit demselben Namen beis, es ihr Mochus können sie sein, hofchiduk, min akotza lakotza. So you can have a name doesn't reflect on the character of its bearer, because you find many people have the same name, and they're very extreme in personalities. The shame spiegelt dit up from the Mehus von Baal Shem. The name doesn't reflect the character of its bearer. Niet wie das is in dem Ingen von Erde, was spiegelt up the Meir, und von Metzias Erer kemen aber nach Sag in the Meir. It's not like the bearer of light that reflects the luminary. By perceiving the existence of light, one can attain some grasp of the Meir of the luminary. When the Zweite Seite Abbeer, on the other hand, is Yedua, is known as the number von I mentioned, hat Ashaychas zum Etzem Adam. Though the person's name is connected with the essence. Wie is Hecher von the Keches Gedim Shalei, which transcend its revealed faculties. The Echoche the roof, what's the proof to this? Shas Meruf I mentioned by Zayin Nomin, Ki der sich avend an Aker b'cholatz Musse. When we call a person by his name, the person becomes startled and turns with his entire being. When a person, God forbid, faints, was das meint, as the Chayes and Nefesh is an Amatze von his Almus, und abgetragen von Gile Beguf. When someone faints, it indicates that the soul's life force is in a state of concealment, removed from the manifestation of his body. Right, der Mensch, der mintert durch dem, was man ruft ihm bei seinem Namen. So, when a person is unconscious, he may be aroused by calling by his name. So, what do you see from here? This shows as the Shema Takesher or written in Etzem Chayes and Nevesh. So, the name has a connection with the effect on the essence of the soul's vitality. Und der Fahr hat bekehrst zum Amschach sein dem Chayes zurück in der Keches and Nevesh. Und der Ding ist da am Meile ist Shem Gabe Eid. Vachosh von Eid kämen wissen dem Meir, von deswegen ist nicht Bamschach dem Etzem am Meir. Now, this shows that the name has a connection with and affects the essence of the soul, and has the power to restore the chayis, the vitality throughout the faculties of the body. And this lies the advantage of a name over light. Although one may become aware of the luminary through light, it infuses still the light itself does not elicit the essence of the luminary. Das says, as der Etzem von dem Odom drückt sich aus dafke dort, wo es setzt sich nicht kein goldige Scheiches zu Menschen. So, a person's essence is manifested specifically as something which we don't see any revealed connection to the person. But dogma, we get that fear in the Maila by the Fenzbana Golis of that Etzem von Ayidin where this Galle dafke in dem Helem Esther Fenzbana Golis. So the essence of a Yid is revealed specifically during the concealment when there's no godliness of Golis. So what the Rebbe said involved is you see that a name has two paradoxical ideas. On one hand, a name doesn't show on the essence. On the other hand, when a person faints, God forbid, and you call his name, his whole body awakens. So we see that it does have a connection to the essence. So we see that a person's essence is manifested specifically in something which we don't see any revealed connection to that person, as discussed above, concerning the Maila Babeda during Golas. The essence of Yid is revealed Dafka during the concealment of godliness. Zion. Now we're going to discuss the Yechida of Torah. So the Rebbe says, Apika now is moving the Keshet zwischen Maisa v'Tridose v'Avidose from Bala Yilula mit der Parshas Shmos der Ingen from Golas. In light of this, we can understand the connection between the deeds, the Torah and Aveda of the Alter Rebbe and Parshas Shmos. Says Yedu is known as Kashem Yis da the B'china Yechida Nefesh Adam. Just like you have the level of a person's level of Yechida in the soul, so too Torah also has Yechida. Torah is Chassidus, which this is, of course, the teachings of Chassidus. And the Iki Gida from Yechida from Torah is in Chassidus Chabad. And the main revelation of the level of Yechida of Chassidus is in Chabad. Wie der Bala Yilula hat Megala gewinnt und abgetragen Torah Chassidus and Avana Vasera. Besteht durch der zu kennen Peil sein, Eufen, Nefesh Bahamis und Chelke Beilam. Bis zum Abach sein, sehr Metzies mit einer Kotze la Kotze, weil darf in dem drückt sich erst im Ärzte für Frimis Hatera. So it's the teachings of Chassidus that were revealed and communicated by the Alter Rebbe. This the Alter Rebbe made Chassidus understood and grasped so that a person can also have an effect on his animalistic soul and his portion of the world. So Chabad Chassidus enables the person to transform even the makeup of his nefesh bahamis and portion of the world from one extreme to another. This is because specifically through the process, the essence of the Torah's inner dimension is displayed. Let's say Yisur Shemitz. Kashem v'yisod sich frier geret dimensions. Just like we spoke about by our person. As the scholars from Yechid Etzem Neshama is dafke when the Keiches HaRegulim Zan Namatzah from Helen Vester. When does the person's essence come out? When the Keiches HaRegulim are in a way of Helen Vester. As they say, when they gave B'chinas Yechidim Torah. So too the Yechidim Torah. As even is Gala dafke dan when sie darf uftan in the Madrigas Taftene of Nefesh Bahamis v'Chalka Beilam. When does the Yechid of Nefesh of Chassidus come out? Dafke when it needs to influence the lower levels of the animalistic soul and the person's portion of the world. When we did a piska for Balai Lula, calling Chassidus l'shanis TV midaisav. Like the Alter Rebbe says, the whole point of Chassidus is transform the nature of one's traits. Das ist the Likkutei Sichos Teves from Ma'aser v'Teirosav Avidasim for Balai Lula and Malas Aveda in Zman HaGolus. This is also the common denominator between the deeds Terin Aveda, the Alter Rebbe, and the advantage of the Aveda in the period of Golus. In beide tut sich auf these Galus from B'chinas Yechidah Dafke in Ord who's Mushtof in Gila Er. The whole point of Chassidus, in both the Yechidah is revealed in a place or time devoted to revealed light. Ches. It's known that the spiritual level of Aveda are alluded by his name Shneier Zalman. Shneier is Belash Shneier. Shneier is a conjunction of the words Shneier, two lights. Zalman is Asis Lizman, and Zalman shares the same letters as Lazman for time. Und beide Namen zusammen direkt erst im Chibur von Shneier Zman. And both, when joined, these names express the interplay between two lights and time. What does that mean? There be in them the explanation. Shneier meint, wie der Baal Shem Tov hat gesagt, wegen dem Alten Rebbe, als wird beleuchten die Welt mit die zwei Lichtigkeit, die Licht von Teres HaNigla and Licht von Teres HaNister. It's like the Baal Shem Tov said of Shneier, Alter Rebbe said about the Alter Rebbe, he will illuminate the world with two lights, the light of the revealed Torah and the light of the concealed Torah. And the Uftu von Shneier in ein Wort is, as beim Alter Rebbe is given, the Schleimstige Chibur von Nigla und Nister, basically is an Gevarim Lachvada Mamish. The idea of Shneier in a singular word is that the Alter Rebbe achieved the integration of the revealed Torah and the concealed Torah such that they became actually one. Was der Keach if dem is gekommen der Fahr, was hat Mamshach und Megala gewend dem Etzem Hos HaTorah. Yechidish B'Torah, was es Hecher von alle Gedonnen von Hella Vegile, und der Fahr hat sie bekehrt, so noch haben sie die beide Edes von Nigla Minister the Torah. This ability to affect the merger resulted from the Alter Rebbe having and uncover the Torah essence character, the Yechidah of Torah. The essence character is beyond the inherent limitation of the categories of concealment and revelation, and therefore could combine the two lights of the revealed and the concealed parts of Torah. And this, he brought down this thing, this idea, this dimension in time. Which is connected with a world which has the same etymology of Helam concealment. That even in this world, the Alter Rebbe was able to combine both lights. The Chibur from Beide Edes. And then we'll dafke in Gile from B'chinas Yechidah Shebetida, we get as free as the Gile B'chinas Yechidah is dafke Madreya Ki Achi Tachtina, as in an earth was is nit king kli to Gileim. So it's he brought it down to this world, and this union specifically enables the Torah Yechidah to be uncovered. As discussed above, the revelation of Yechidah specifically occurred in the lowest realms, in a place that is seemingly unfit to have this revelation. Tests. The Geret fuel mold, as discussed many times, is a tachas hakavana as echt in yanum shlamalim mishtafstus of a keches adam zon kum begile und a primis euch in keches von Menschen. Nicht nur na helen dekenreifen wie in Zman HaGolus. We spoke about many times. The ultimate goal of those levels of godliness that are beyond the order of creation and a person's faculty, also to become revealed internally by these faculties. So these levels should not remain in a wholly concealed state, as an ordinary case during Golus. But Umchotz is the Amaila in the Aveda is Mana Golus, even though there's an Aveda, there's a Amaila, there's an advantage of this Aveda in Golus. Was Demol, Vernis Eirin is Galop Kines Yechidish Me'avrish, then love of Yechidah is revealed. It's the Chav, the Tachas from Golus, the Gula was kum nach dem, and durch dem, das says, as the Gile Kines Yechidah from Mana Golus, mehr sein Eich in the Kechas Primim information, as Zeh sollen sein durchgedrungen von Etzema Nefesh. So the point is that even though there's an Aveda, that the Aveda in Golus possesses this advantage, this of the Yechidah, but the purpose is that the revelation of Yechidah taking place during a time of Golus also radiate within the internal faculties of a person so that they will be permeated with the soul's essence. You can say, as thus is the Ufta from the Bali Lul in Teves Chassidus Chabad. This is the Alter Rebbe's accomplishment in Teves Chassidus Chabad. As etzem primes atera was es hecher von Ishtalschluss und Tam bedas und was ken lachere genommen werden blaze bei Kabbalah Mamono soll euch das herabkommen benigla was sagen Chabad never to Adam und durch dem Pil sein euch sein Midas soll es Sphäre werden mit Naam Vira. So the essence of the inner dimension of the Torah, which is beyond the created order, beyond logic and reason, and can seemingly be grasped only by acceptance of faith, should be channeled into a revealing comprehensive state within the faculties of Chabad of a person's soul. Through this, it will affect him emotionally, so he'll be aroused to love and fear Hashem. Das ist Menumas in dem, was die Stalkes ist gewesen, was die Shabbos Kedish early in all of the Parshas Ve'era, wo Ve'era steht, nicht bei Golei, was demut hat sich schön angeheben reden, wegen dem Gile von Ani Avaye, das Atzmes in Sev, was ist bis demut nicht gekommen, die Gile, le Karti lehem midas amitis shali, und Ve'era allein ist doch von Loschen Ne'iyah, wie Gile says, dass die Prinz Madreges, was ist Hecher von Ishtalshus, as are aufgekommen, Lidei Ve'iyah, wie Gile Beifim Shemi. And this is what's alluded to by the passing of Alter Rebbe having occurred on Motzei Shabbos, the evening leading to the Sunday of the week of Parshas Ve'era, despite the concealment characteristics of Parshas Ve'era. From already in Parshas Ve'era, the revelation of I am Hashem, the level of the essence of the infinite, which until then has not been revealed. The word Ve'era denotes sight and visibility. In other words, godliness and that lies beyond the order of creation became visible and inwardly revealed. And this was the whole uftu of the Alter Rebbe, of what he brought with Chassidus, Itas Kislev, what he brought, and Dafka, the day when he passes away, has a special connection to Parshas Shmos. The Shmos is the idea of a name. The Dafka, first of all, Dafka Shmos is Golus. So that Parsha speaks about Golus, which this was the whole uftu of the Alter Rebbe, that in Golus the essence can come out. Just like a name on one hand, it's not the essence, but it does have a shaykhus to the essence. So this is the whole uftu of Teves Chassidus.